Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy change. Well, I guess change time day plus one. But this is the first time that I'm really actually having to pay attention to what time I'm waking up since the time change. So that's fun. If you don't live in a country or state or province or whatever that observes daylight savings time, then yesterday in America, well, in most states in America, because there's a couple that don't. We are now 1 hour backwards. So now we're currently GMT -7 here in Colorado, which it's a little bit interesting because now we feel more tired when we're going to bed and slightly and it's more light when we wake up. Um, but it's kind of like we just gave ourselves jet lag for free without having to take a plane anywhere, which is that's cool. But I'm still trying to stream at the same time. So thank you notification that I am live. So let's see where we were at with the nature of code in Rust thing. I believe last time we left off, let's go ahead and run this. I believe we sort of got everything working, and we have our we have the direction walkers all sort of going towards the food. They're a little bit fast, but at the same time they're pretty strong. I guess like right now they're killing themselves by being too fast. But they all going after their separate foods now. They would be eaten clearly, so we might have more balance changes to make as we sort of go through this. But it's I think it's looking good. So with that, let's figure out. So the next thing I was thinking of was keeping them in the arena. So right now, as these walkers sort of go off, they're not really looping around. Sorry, the yellow ones aren't looping around. They're just sort of going off and they're doing other things. The white ones are looping. So when they disappear from the right side of the screen, they appear on the left. So what I'm thinking of doing is taking that code that we have for the white walkers, and moving them into let's see, moving that into like one level up so it applies to all the walkers. So we take a look at random walkers. We have this keep in arena function, and this just mutates the location of X. And I think that we can do that one up. That was odd. The cables just suddenly shifted on their own, which that's cool. I need better cable management back here. Okay, so if I cut you, and we don't have you keep in the arena in your update function, or in your walk function, that is. And I go to mod here. And we add this function into like the parent of each of the walkers. Then the idea here is, okay, I could probably just change this to our arena size. It's a tuple of F32s. We're also going to want to pass in the walker, which is a type what is the enum? Oh, walker. Oh, right. So it's just a type walker. I don't want to take ownership of it, but I do want to mutate it. So this should be immutable. Okay, that's... I don't need to show that anymore. One of the yellow walkers just totally kicked butt. Okay, so walker, mute walker. That means we can now change these to walker. So if the walker's location.x is minus walker.size, instead of arena's width, we're now going to do arena size dot 0. Oh, no field location on type walker's walker. Okay. So then the other, we're passing in the enum, which means we need to extract that out. And really, no matter what that is, so we have a choice here. We can create a function that sort of that takes in the enum and extracts it out and then does this on it. Or I can maybe use a generic function that goes across both of these. And that might be the better option here. Because what I was thinking is we're already in a loop where we've extracted out. Where is it? In this update, here we've gotten each of the walkers, and so I could, well, okay, I could just pass in the enum here and call it right there. I could also call each one here depending upon which type it is. You know, I wonder if I would rather just do that here, and then I don't have to call it once. I don't have to call it twice, depending upon which it is. So let's say it is this enum. We have to if let it. So if let sum walker equals walker, then all of you go into here. Expected walker's walker found enum standard option. You are the enum, right? Oh, because they're different types. I think that was like even after I extract it from the walker. So let's yeah, okay. So I'm taking the enum here and I'm getting the sum out of it. And found enum option. Wait, is it still an option inside of that? I don't think so. In this enum, yeah, it's just random walker or attraction walker. So I would think that I could get that out of this way. If I comment this out and just try, okay, just try like a match, for example. So if I match off of walker, I can get the attraction walker. Random walker and attraction walker. So I can get random walker like that. attraction walker like that, I think this is just happy doing that, right? Expected tuple struct variant found struct random walker. Did you mean random walker fields? Oh, you know what? Okay, I got it. I forgot to tell it the type, like the what type. So it's looking at the wrong thing. So this is let's see. This is not. I guess it is a walker. It is some. Because it's still an option to get that. The other one, it would be like matching on the walker : attraction walker. But I don't want to like get into the point where I'm like doing this again. I'm thinking that a generic here would be best. Let's try it. I haven't written like a real generic yet. Okay, for example, defining a generic function name foo that takes an argument t of any type. Okay, so function, and then sort of like the turbo t, and then we can just use argument t. So we'll start with this. So keep an arena. And then we can say walker is going to be mute of type t. But I have to also say oh, that's not the function. I need the where, don't I? Because it needs to, the compiler needs to be confident that it's going to have the methods. Am I going to bind the type t to anything? Well, I want it to like just be for the walkers. But I guess this is not like the best example in the in this book. Do the walkers implement a shared trait? Good question. I think they do. But they might. I don't think I've implemented any traits of my own. I've just derived clone and debug. But besides that, not really. They're just pretty simple structs. Is there a way to get a list of what traits a struct has? I think a generic would only help here if they both implement a shared trait. Oh, interesting. So I can't. Well, a trait can also. Okay, so I could create a trait for this. So I could create a trait for this to basically say that these walkers must have a location, a velocity, and an acceleration. Right, yeah, but I didn't necessarily like create that. But if I were to create these as a trait. Now, I can't remember if traits must be only functions or if they can be also the properties that are coming onto the struct. For this mod, you think traits are methods only? Let's take a look at it up really quickly. almost sneezed. I tried to click the mute button on the microphone, but of course that didn't work. But luckily I didn't sneeze into it. Okay, so traits is a collection of methods defined for an unknown type self. They can access other methods declared in the same trait. Yeah, okay, so it only accesses a new trait like that, but I bet there's some shared functions in here we can move into a trait. Like the update, is it the same across both? And then there's draw. Wait, this is the wrong one. We have walk. Oh, you know might be really interesting. Could I implement a trait that has this walk function? Or sorry, not the walk function, the keep in the arena function, and then just implement it for each of the mods. I wonder if I could do that. So inside of walkers, if I create a new, is it normal to create like one trait per file or like a traits file? I'm not exactly sure. But if I were to say, let's do walker traits.rs for right now. And it's going to be trait. The name of the trait, so essentially is going to be usually throw them above below where they are used as parameters, but of course they would be shared between two different files. So Katali, good morning. Okay, trait. I don't want to call, like, I have too many things named Walker now. So trait, this is gonna be trait like movement, Walker movement. And so if I have our function, it's just a function, but I can also have a default method applied. Okay, so function, and we're gonna have, this is gonna be our movement. Do I still have that code? I do. So I will comment you out. What are we doing today? So today, I am focusing on trying to get the walkers to stay inside of the arena. Not just because I already have the random walkers doing that, the attraction walkers, getting them to both do it. So I'm thinking a trait that does that. Implementing a generic keep an arena method works. The other way you can go is you could implement get position and set position on both walkers and use it in the keep arena. I'm bound T to with position trait. You have no opinion which is better. And then you're heading out. So I could see that. I could also see the trait for walker movement working, and then I could just implement the walker movement trait for the walkers. I could see that working too. So I could say, so keep an arena. I'll just move this. I'll just reapply you. Okay, keep an arena. Its default behavior, we're going to take an immutable self. We also need to take in the arena width and arena height as a tuple. Miguel, good morning. It's been so long. Yeah, no, it's awesome having you here. Is it due to the time change? Like, does that make it easier for you to catch the stream? I am doing good. I'm pretty much, well, brain-wise, I'm pretty much recovered. I still got some special diet things that I need to do from that accident earlier in the year, but I am able to code again. Things are looking good, so you know, that's all that. How are you doing? Okay, so if self-dot location at this, arena size, then we want to then update. So this isn't giving me any errors, so I kind of wonder if I can implement this. Do I need to make this like a public trait? Like do that? And then in our mod for the walkers, mod walker traits. I don't necessarily need, I just need to tell it that it's a mod. Then in random walker, use where would I get, can I just walker traits? Would that work? Walker movement. Oh, super walker traits. Okay, so I have to go to super, like that. So go one up and then out to grab it. Now it's just saying we're not using it. So implement random walkers. Then at the bottom here, we'll implement walker movement for random walker. And I think that's all I need to do, right? Because I have default traits on it. Oh, interesting. Okay. How do I... Do I need to implement something like that? But because I have a default, it just sort of works. So if I do this, I have 20 errors. Right. I don't need keep in arena in here anymore. I'm going to use that in a trait. Yeah, we're not using you. We're not using you. Not using you. Okay, no field location on type mute. Oh, so now you're upset about all this. Oh, okay. So you don't know what type you're going to be applied to. So can I say, oh, right. So I can't necessarily say what it is. Interesting. So I would still need a generic. Can I do something a little bit weird? I don't know if this would work. A walker. You're okay, still figuring out things, what to do next, work study stuff. Yeah, so life is a bit chaotic. Well, I hope that it gets a little bit, more smooth sailing out in the future. Also traits, awesome. I know. I need practice with these too. And I'm not really sure what the best way to implement this is because it's yelling at me that of course it doesn't know that location is on here. because that's something that's going to be on the struct. And I was kind of hoping to be able to set to like just say like, hey, just set like self the location. You have that now. But I don't think, and I can do the walker, and maybe I can say like, okay, this is mute of T type. But then there's the where, right? Where can't you pass the walker the function and use it instead of self? Can I pass the walker the function? Oh, so use this as sort of like a higher order function where I pass and I do a little bit of dependency injection and I inject keep an arena into yeah, I wonder if I could. I think it would still be upset because it doesn't know for certain that self is going to have a location. So I could maybe. Uh, um, oh, pass the walker into this function. Yeah. So the problem is that my walkers are different types. I have a random walker type, and I have an attraction walker type. But because they're different types, I'm sort of mushing them together as an enum, and that allows me to put them into a single vector in the parent like mod file. But that causes a problem here because if I want a single function to implement for them both, then I can't really do that. I think I can do this trait. We can have the walker, and so instead of, I mean, could I have self be a T2? Creating a generic walker type and then making the other walkers inherit from it? But there isn't inheritance in Rust, right? I think the closest I can get is a bunch of shared traits. Miliardo? Okay. Good morning. This doesn't make any sense. What I'm doing or the problem? Or both. It could be that I'm like just going off the deep end here too. So I think maybe Danny was right, and that we don't necessarily want this to be a trait for walker movement. Oh, Katali's comment. I think, yeah, so there's no traditional inheritance in Rust. So it's not object-oriented in that way. There's traits both in object-oriented and functional programming, and I think that's what I'm doing. Let's keep it nice. We don't need to tell people we don't know what we're doing. Let's see. Oh, sorry, I completely misread that. You don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, sorry, Milardo. I completely misread that. Okay, so what I'm doing, I have these walkers here. I have two walker type structs here. And if I restart my app, Oh, of course I can't because I saved and now I have all these errors. Basically, each of them are circles and they're going around trying to find food and eat it. My random walker just sort of randomly moves around, and my attraction walker obviously, like, is attracted to the food directly. And so there's different types. There's a self and a walker. I was just sort of playing around with that. Um, so the problem is with keep in arena as this trait, it doesn't know like that this is always going to be applied to walkers. So it doesn't know that it's going to have this like location on, and I don't know that there's a way for me to set an interface essentially to say like, oh, it will always have this. Can I instead not do the self, instead say like you're kind of a static function, and that we're going to take in a walker of mutable type T. And then I think there's that where that you have to do with generics. The trait should be abstract. You could use a lens function for getting in sense. I don't actually know what a lens function is. And I will implement it for both walkers, yes. Oh, so like this doesn't have any like the where. Or maybe it doesn't care. Oh, I could just implement it right now. For both of them, it probably wouldn't care. Traction walker. Also, I'm gonna re-enable this because I forgot this morning. Okay, so at the traction walker, we're gonna bring that in too. So use super, what was it? Walker traits, walker movement. A lens is basically a tuple of two functions for some t and s. The first function get is s. Oh, interesting. So like sort of a tuple to set the to like pass getters and setters around. Interesting. I'd possibly have to like think about how to use that here. Okay, so we're gonna implement on traction walker. So implement walker movement for a traction walker like that. We're trying to create a generic, like a default function in here. This doesn't even say that I need the where, which is feels a little bit odd to me, but okay. So type T, generic. Walker is going to be a T, and then it's going to be every time we do self, it's going to be walker. But the problem is, it doesn't know that walker is going to have this location on it. A default can't use the self struct in a meaningful way. Oh, okay. But still we have this problem here. But I wonder. Yes, then there is the idea of like the setters. Like the setter trait to set the location. Right now, am I doing that with the new function? I'm creating new ones and I'm giving it like the new location. I could change this around a little bit. As far as I know, the where clause is used in the implementation, not traits. Oh, okay. Not 100% sure. Yeah, I haven't really done traits like since the book just had us do like the very basic simple ones. And so therefore I haven't really truly learned them yet. If I do essentially a setter function, so let's say I also implement implement in there, let's see. Yeah, so I guess this is the problem here. So maybe like my first initial thought was correct. I keep in arena goes in this parent one as a generic, but then I create this trait as like function. I could do like the lens Millardo that you suggested. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. That L and Y so close together like trips me up. But I could also just do like set location as a function here. We know it's going to take Millardo. Oh man, it was when I try to do it fast. That's when I get it wrong. Okay, so if I take mutable reference to self and I take a location, which is a type, so use ggez, and I also then want to use ggez and a algebra vector 2. Then this is going to be a vector 2 of type F32. And this is not going to return anything. So I think this would be like the type of trait that I could then use to say, hey, for generics, this is what we're doing. You just remembered something you read or believe. Hence you're not sure. Oh yeah, like I don't know, we're all new to this. Or at least you and I are. Okay. So I can now I can use this to be forced to set the location on each of these. And then when I set the location, which would be good for like both the initial set of the location, but this would also be good for that when they go off the screen, they come onto the other side. We just set their location over there now. That might be good too. Okay, so let's implement you. So isn't it set location? It is. Whoa. No autocomplete? We're not going to return anything. Instead, what we're going to do is just say self.location equals not that location. Are you happy with that? Not all trait items implementing missing set location. Really? Because I see it right there. I have 19 errors showing, so it's quite possible that the other errors that I have are just totally, like this might be wrecking RLS. Did I miss function? You're right, I did. Ha! I missed the keyword function. Okay, that was the problem. All right, so function set location. Oh, interesting. This didn't put in the mute self that I was expecting it to add in here. And then we have the location, which is the vector f32. So we're going to say self.location equals location. Okay, so now we have a shared trait for set location. Let's take a look at where. No results for where. Am I wrong in remembering that generics? Oh, here's trait. Okay, so traits could be generic too. Interesting. But here's your go at it. Ooh, let's go take a look at that. Okay, so here's a random walker, public struct attraction walker. Is there a different thing? Other X, blah, Y. Trait position. So you're getting position and setting position. Is the lens like only when it's a tuple, or would this also like be a lens? Implement position for a random walker. So then we're getting position and setting position that we sort of set there. Implement position for attraction walker. Okay, print position T position. So the trait greater than sign and then the type. Oh, T position. Okay, got it. Never mind. I missed the closing one. Okay. A lens data type would be a generic version of that, but yeah, that fits the definition. Okay. Learning. Let's see. Okay, so T is of type trait. Okay. So function, that's your... So we come back to mod here. This is our movement walkers, so just in here. Okay, keep an arena, and we're gonna do type T, but this is gonna be, and so I need to now also use not just the mod walker traits. So we need to use walker traits, walker movement, walker movement like that. I don't think we need this to be mutable. And we're also going to take in a walker of type T. And now I guess it would be all the selves would then be walker. No field location on type T. Okay, so I didn't do that correctly. Let's try to walker of type T. That position equals walker.get position. Remember, traits can only genericize functions. So you called a method to get the position. Oh, okay, so that's why we need the lens to get the position and set the position. Okay. So instead of doing it directly on it, that's where our gets and sets would be. Got it. Okay. So here we have this function. It is if walker. Okay, so I changed this around. So we can actually do this in the trait. I think. Here, let me think. If I have this like as the trait with a generic method, but it's going to call these other methods that we're going to put into here for it to help out. So keep in Arena, we're not going to do this. I guess we have a reference to self. All right, Denny. See you in a bit. Okay, we're not going to have the walker. Do we? No, I don't. Am I still like forcing it by trying to put this in the trait and then do the functions in here, which then get called out here? So I can say, okay, I want to get select location equals self dot like get location. And so I'm going to put that in here. So get location. We're not going to get anything, and we're going to return a vector 2. So if I do that, then this should work, right? Yes, okay, because it exists. And then I'll use set location when we go there. The reason you did another x, another blah y is to show that there's no guarantee what the properties are on the struct behind the trait. You can only guarantee the functions from the trait exist. Yes, okay, got it. Or at least I'm getting closer to getting it. Yeah. So now we can say if, and we know this location is a vector 32. So now I can just skip this. I guess it's really going to be, if it's a walker location thing. Now we can just go straight to location.x. We need the size. So that means we're going to get another get size. Maybe get health. And this is going to be an F32. And so now, wherever we have walker.size, we're going to replace this with health. You think location.0? Location's a vector 32, so it's not a tuple. It's an actual struct that has an X and a Y. If I did do a tuple the way that Danny did, it would definitely be .0. Okay, so if the location at X is less than the health that's greater than, okay, then okay, now we have this like location X equals minus health. But what I really want to do is set the location. So we have to create a new location and then set that to it. Okay, so let new. I wonder if I can, if I could do that. Like, do I want to? Because it could be both at the same time. Okay. It could be both of these. I'm surprised that it would allow me to set that. Oh, it's probably yellow. It won't give me errors in here, I don't think, until I solve these errors of like, hey, we're not doing everything yet. So missing get location and get health. Get health. And so I'm going to return self dot. So this is the attraction walker. I think it's just self dot health. And then get location. Is it vector 2 F32. And I want to clone this. So that is an actual real copy. I suppose it could be. I wonder if I could pass it a reference to it and then it can mutate it. Like an actual. Okay, so what if I. If I return like a mutable reference to this vector 2. So I need to borrow this self mutably. Yeah, no, I don't like this. I already don't like it because like it's get location. There's no indication that it's about to be mutated. So I just want to self the location.con. Yeah. I like as soon as I started implementing, I'm like, nope, bad idea. Don't like it. We'll just do a clone. It's like a little bit extra overhead, but it's fine. Raven Legend, good morning. Okay, so that works here. It's gonna be the exact. Well, it's not gonna be exactly the same. It's gonna be close. In our random walkers, I think instead of get health, it's size because I wasn't consistent. Lenses in general are composable. If you had a generic lens type data type, you just do that. Yeah, that would actually be. That would be interesting to do. Like to create a generic lens type for this. And yeah, that I still don't know like where I want to put like generic traits, like full file, like architecture wise. Okay, so I have you all done. What's next? Cannot borrow location is mutable. Right. So this is like setting this now, and I don't necessarily want to do that. Although this is a clone, and then I can reset that. Okay. So if I set you as mutable, I can now basically say if the location is now different, um, if the location is different, then go ahead and reset. So if location is not equal, and then we'll just do another self.getLocation. Then I want to self.setLocation and pass it location. I think that would work. And then you need to be mutable. All right. You feel like a noob? Yeah. Well, you came in right when I'm like trying to do something like slightly more advanced with Rust. I don't know if you're like familiar with Rust at all. It can be a little bit interesting. Let's take a look at Miliardo. I have to say your name like slowly. So docs, Rust. Let's see what we have in here. So function lens. This is in the main. Oh, docs are lenses. Compose. Left hand side, right hand side. Lifetimes and generics. Dynamic. I don't know what. I haven't used the dyne type. And then type lens. Okay. I wish there was like more that it showed how this works. Yeah, all the let's see. I could just see Millie. Okay, Millie. You just started learning HTML and CSS and then going to learn JavaScript. Oh, awesome. That's a great path. You can do so much cool, fun stuff with JavaScript and HTML and CSS. This is Rust, so it's a backend language. It's written by Mozilla. It is, I would say, it's going to be a lot more unfamiliar to you. But it's something that, like, after you get a little bit familiar with JavaScript, I would recommend checking it out. It's like C++. It depends on who you ask. I would say that Mozilla is attempting to replace C++ with Rust wherever they're coding C++. That being said, there are a huge number of differences between Rust and C++, but I can't really enumerate on them because I myself haven't programmed in C++, just a little bit of C a long time ago. What can I do with Rust? It's a generic language, so anything that you can do with C or C++ or like, well, Python, Java, I mean, now JavaScript, Ruby, anything you can do with any of those languages, you can also do with Rust. I mean, this is interesting, Millie, but also at the same time, it doesn't give me enough information here for me to like just start using it. That's like one of the things about the documentation is like, oh, it's so close, but it's not like exactly what I wanted. So I'm wondering if this will work now. There's no errors showing. So let's run this and see if it actually keeps all of the walkers in the arena. No is the answer. So they left the arena, and now the other walkers can leave the arena too. So what I need to do is figure out what's going on with that. Now, I guess it's possible that this isn't being set. What I could do is just run a quick print line. So just say got here. I'm guessing we're not going to get anything printed out. Yeah, so like as it goes off the screen, nothing, it's like that's not being set. But if I set you, if I debug, for example, location, this will be a lot of run. I'm not running keep in arena. Like I'm defining it on the trait, but I'm not running it. So of course it wouldn't work. I need to, on the random walker, actually run self dot to keep in arena in the update here. So in walk at the bottom, self dot keep in arena, we pass it in this, I guess we're getting arena width and arena height here. So exactly this minus u. Like that. And then I also need to do the same thing for the attraction walkers. In update, self dot keep an arena. Now I don't have, so I'm just gonna say arena size. I need the arena size in here now. So let's go ahead and multi-line u. Okay, so I'm gonna have the arena size, which is a tuple of type F32, F32. And now when I call the attraction walker and give it the update function, I also need to pass it in the arena size. Like that. Okay, no errors. Let's see if that makes it better. No, I don't need a CD. I need to run cargo run. And they're moving off the right side of the screen and they're coming onto the left. So perfect. All right. I think that's like a successful usage of a trait. I can remove this debug statement. I don't need that anymore. So where was that? That was in the walker traits. We don't need our debug anymore. I know what is it? The friction that I have for these is just not quite. I need to like tweak it just a little bit so it doesn't like constantly circle everything. It mostly works. Okay. And of course the walkers aren't eating each other yet, but that'll come with the next thing. So let's close all you down and let's open up our README. And that means our keep walkers in the arena is I'm calling that done. And why are you upset about that? The following, yeah. Cancel, save you, and now I can do you. Okay. Walkers can eat each other. So that's something else that I think like all of these could probably be traits because they're shared between the two different walkers here. So let's take a look at how we do the eating. Right now, we have eat food, and we're probably gonna want like eat like a walker also. Maybe like just a and eat food might be one thing. And eat a walker would be a completely different thing altogether. And really interesting to do because the walkers are like different potential types, but I could use those methods on them to make sure that like it works properly, I think. Okay, so public function eat. And so all I'm doing is I'm looping through all the foods, making sure that I'm within like that I'm over the food. And if I am, then I increase my own size and remove the food. So trait wise, I would need a grow function. So let's copy this and let's go take a look at our trait. So if we keep on adding into this, we would want to say, okay, we have, I guess this would be public because we're going to call eat off of the parent and we have to pass it in all the foods. Which means we need to use, what is it? Use crate foods. Okay. No, that wasn't very one. Oh, isn't it? I think it's like food. Gets a little bit weird the way I organize my file structure with this. Foods is a struct, not a module. Wait. Can I just do that? Who's food? Struct food is private. I need, so I'm gonna have my foods, which is a vector of the individual foods. How do I do this in Random Walker? Use crate foods. Oh, lowercase. That's what it was. So foods, food, like that. That's what I need to do. So that gives me you. Public is not permitted here. Okay. So I can't do that. So we're gonna loop through all the foods. That direction. Right, so then we have to get the location. We're only doing this right here, so we can say self.get location. And then here we're going to do self dot. I guess we're using this multiple times, so let's do another let. I guess in this case it's size. We'll get the health, which is the size. Whoa. There you go. And that'll just be size. Oh, and this is going to be set the size. So self dot. We don't have that yet. So we need to add in a we're not going to return anything, and we're going to say self dot oh yeah, so this is going to be interesting. Okay, so self dot health equal oh no wait, you know what? I'm not implementing it. I almost forgot. That's just what it is. Self.set size, and we also want to say the new size, which is an F32. There we go. It's not going to return anything, but now I can say self.set size. And I'm going to set whatever you are. And then we're going to tell the food to remove itself. Okay, so that means we need to implement eat and set size. Eat is already implemented in there, so in random walker, we need to implement function. So can I think I can make you public if I want. Function set size. We have our new size. I don't know why it never self. Okay, self dot size equals new size. And for our attraction walker, we can do the same thing. So set size, new size. Okay, self dot health equals new size. Okay, so that makes that happy. No errors. And then we need to call it. So it's going to be eat, and we need to pass in the foods. So theoretically, and I'm really curious about whether or not I can do this. If I say walkers, where is it? Here's our update. We run update here. If I then run, here we have eat in attraction walker. Oh, and like random walker is doing it inside of there. Is it just gonna work? So eat in there, and then random walker. You have this eat foods. And then if I remove you, I'm not seeing an error in here, just all my normal warnings. Let's try running it. It's able to eat the food. Okay, so this is perfect. Then adding those into traits Oh, I still have a debug call in here. Don't need you anymore. Okay, so we're able to eat the foods. What I want to do is like eat each other. So if I were to have a function eat walker, what needs to happen? So you actually paid for Windwater. Rust gives you the heebie-jeebies. I mean, it's a fun language in my mind. It does take a while to get like to where you can be productive with it. Um, I'm still learning, obviously, but also at the same time, I feel like it's a lot of fun to do. Let's see. Okay, so if I want to eat, what does that mean? If I'm bigger, so if as a walker, I'm bigger than the other walker, and I'm over, and it's inside of me, then I eat it. I think that's what I want to do. Is like if it's fully inside or covering. So what do I need in order to do that? Moving backwards, I need to determine is inside. Okay, so I need a function is inside. And I guess it's gonna be like the other walkers. Okay. What I'm imagining is I'm gonna call this function in the update, and I'm gonna just call it multiple times over the other walkers. So as a walker, I'm gonna say, hey, other walkers, are you close to me? I think that's what it have to be is I need to get well, okay, I need to determine if I'm inside of you, but in order to determine if I like a walker is inside of another walker, I need to also know the distance between the walkers. And I think that would just be it. So maybe not like is inside, but distance. Like get distance. I don't think we need mute self. We would want the other walker. I guess like the other location really, which is a vector2 of f32. And this is going to give an f32 back. Do I want to make this just a generic trait that I can add in? I might want to. Oh, well, no, I can. Okay, so other location returns that. So we're going to apply this, and we're going to say like, hey, other walker, how close are you to me? Like, am I going to be able to eat you? The other thing is that you can't eat some like a walker that's larger than you. So that could be also like the another check that I do is like, am I larger than you first before I do the rest of the calculations, just sort of like save a little bit of processing powder. Okay, but guess distance I think will also be necessary for this. So if I look at this, we're gonna get distance. We're gonna get is inside, and we're also going to do is larger. Okay, so get distance. We have my own location, so let location equals self dot get location. So we get our own location. Then I want to get the distance between this location and that location. The way you do this is we need a line between the two. I can just subtract. So let, I guess like difference. It's not a difference. It's like an actual vector representing the line between the two. So it's the direction. Okay, I'll just call it the direction equals location minus other location. And then I want the magnitude of this, and that's what I return. So I'm going to return direction dot magnitude. And that should just work, and now I have the distance is larger. Okay, so function is larger is gonna take self other size, which is an F32. It's gonna return a bool. So let size equals, actually I could just say return self dot get health. So is larger. So if I'm greater than other size, pretty much that's what this trait is going to be. And I think now this means that I can do is inside. Okay, so this is also going to be a Boolean. So we're not going to like mutate anything. And I don't know if I need like the other walker here for that. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna pass in the distance and the is larger, I bet. So distance. Oh, let me just try, instead of just starting with is inside, eat other walker. Now I can't really do, oh, you know what? So this is, I'm not going to actually implement it here. What I'm gonna have to do is loop through the other walkers inside of like an update function, and then call these functions off of it in order to update it, in order to like eat. So eating is basically I need to get my distance, like to see, okay, what am I? How far am I from the other person, from the other walker? If well, okay, first of all, are they larger than me? So other walker size, I'll just say other size, is going to be an F32, and then the distance is going to be an F32. I think that works. We're not going to return anything in here. Oh, you know what? I don't need to like say that I probably don't need to like implement it here. If I'm eating the other walker, I guess all I'm really doing is not that. I'm just saying self dot do I have a set size? I do. So self dot set size is now going to be self dot size. No. Self dot get size, get health. Plus other size. I guess it would be other health. And that's all I'm really doing here. Is I'm just saying, okay, hey, reset my size to be whatever my health is, my current health is, plus the other walker's health. I'm not sure this is really useful for me. That seems like just a useless abstraction for this. I think a lot of this is going to have to be done inside the walkers themselves. I could also do this in the mod here. So for each, we're already muted, like, yeah. So we're already going through the walkers here, and we have an update. I would potentially want to do something like that. Something like passing, like, eat other walkers, and then pass in the other walkers. Now this is walkers, iter, mute. So this is a problem. I'm already in a loop for each of these walkers. That's not necessarily very good. I think I may have to loop through it again. Because I don't think I can pass in and like give like the entire vector here to the walker because there's an ownership problem. Returns an iterator that allows modifying each value. Yeah, so like I'm potentially modifying in this loop. It really is not going to want me to modify the walkers potentially in here. Although I'm not changing the vector, I'm just changing the walkers in the vector. So like I'm not going to delete them, but I wonder whether or not it would be able to handle that. Because if I were to say like, okay, hey, let's pass in self.walkers. Okay, so random walker doesn't take in. Okay. This will be walkers is a mutable vector of public struct walkers. Oh, right, because like for each like potential walker. I'm gonna have to think about this. I've run out of time anyways, so I'm not gonna implement you. We have these functions in our walker traits. We're gonna be able to use them eventually. I just have to like sort of figure out how I'm gonna do that. So let's go ahead. Ewan created traits in preparation for walkers eating walkers. I'm going to push that up to GitHub. I have a link to the repo down below in the stream description. If you're on like a PC or a computer, I believe I have an actual like direct like link into GitHub. Otherwise, you have to just go into the a link to the my general GitHub if you're on mobile. I'm doing these streams every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:45 a.m. Mountain Time, which is of course now GMT -7. So that's fun. It's also like light outside now, which is really crazy. And next time we're going to continue getting the walkers to eat each other, and I think we're on a good path. I just sort of have to think about how I want to use the traits and how I want to actually set that up for this. But anyways, without getting too distracted, I do have work to go to. I have to go do my stand-up and then head off and do my day job. Anyways, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Is there... Can't even tell in this new section. Ooh, fun function is live, so we can go raid MPJ. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch to the end screen. Yeah, thanks Miguel. Thanks everybody for stopping by. I am going to set up this raid because it is a Monday and he's streaming. I won't be able to join you all because I do have my stand-up they have to get ready for. So I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Have fun with fun function, and I'll see you all Wednesday. And with that, happy raid. Bye.